The TCL Q65H is a 5.1 channel soundbar with a maximum rated output of 580 watts. It also has support for Dolby Atmos and DTS. Now, the time of filming and in the UK can be found for roughly £350, while in the US it can be found for roughly $350. In fact, if you do want to find the best price for it and you are shopping on Amazon, the link's down in the description below, or the pinned comment or the QR code that you'll be able to find on your screen right now will take you to your localized Amazon store. Now, in this video, which has been sponsored by the manufacturer, I'll be covering everything you need to know about it so you can make your own informed purchasing decision. So to kick things off, let's talk about its overall build quality, and here you have got a curved metal design, therefore giving it a nice sort of profile, at least from the top. Towards the side and the front, you have got a fabric material which protects the drivers that are housed within. Then you'll also find the subwoofer, which is also pretty stylish. The dimensions of the soundbar and the subwoofer will be on your screen, so you can size it up for yourself. In my case, I've got it on a cabinet in front of a 65-inch TV. I feel that if you got a TV that's over 40-inch, it will actually be a good pairing. Now, in terms of you being able to wall mount it, there are some brackets that are found within the box, therefore allowing you to position it, for example, underneath a TV on your wall. In order for you to interact with the soundbar, there are a few physical buttons that are positioned at the top of it, which are certainly appreciated. And there's also a small little LCD display that can be found at the front, which gives you an indication of, for example, different sound modes or the metadata that's being played between it, or of course your volume adjustments. If you do want to adjust any sort of settings from afar, you've also got a bundled remote, which does provide you all the desired options that you'll require. So next up, we get onto the TCL Home App, and through the main interface you can change between different sources, which can be quite handy. You can power on and off the soundbar, adjust the different media playback, specifically for example if you're on Bluetooth. Then you can also alter the volume and also mute it, and you've also got the AI Sonic feature, which you can enable or disable, and therefore allowing you to calibrate it as well. In terms of the sound settings, you've got the different EQ modes, the effects, and also you've got the bass and treble settings. Elsewhere, you also have got the device name, the room that's in, and also you can check for the firmware version. In order for you to connect up to the app, you have got Bluetooth, and this is used in the initial setup process, after which you can actually switch between the different inputs while still utilizing the app. So a nice little touch by the manufacturer. Now, in terms of connectivity, you have indeed got Bluetooth with the SBC and AC codec supported only, so therefore you'll get a degraded audio transmission, at least over wireless. This can be still quite handy if you've got friends or family who are coming over and just want to play back their favorite tunes, and therefore gives you that ability. If, however, you're a little bit more of a serious audiophile, or you just want to get the utmost audio fidelity from the soundbar, you'll want to plug it in. And here you have got optical and also HDMI. To be more specific, you've got the HDMI 2.1 standard, and you've got an HDMI input and also an HDMI eARC output, which goes to your television. This is also backwards compatible with the HDMI ARC standard, so therefore if you've got an older television, don't fret, you're still able to use the soundbar over the preferred method. Now, it's also good to see that the soundbar does support ALLM and VRR, which will be very much handy for console gamers out there that want to plug in their consoles directly into the soundbar instead of their televisions. And you've also got 4K HDR pass-through with Dolby Vision support. So with all that out of the way, let's get on to an audio demo, which I appreciate is not going to be ideal over YouTube as it's going to be compressed and using my microphone, but nonetheless it'll give you a little bit of a taster as to what to expect. First off, we'll go on to a music demo where I'll be going through the different sound modes and playing back a track which is from Priya J and it's titled Like Me. Then I'll be going on to a piece to camera where I'll be presenting the Hyundai Insta on Totally EV, and here I'll be enabling and disabling the voice modes. In order for you to understand how the soundbar is actually operating while you're actually listening to it over YouTube, make sure you check out the annotations which will be found on your screen.
I know you
see that as standard across the entire trim range, you have got a heat pump that comes included as standard. For those people who are not aware what that means, it effectively adds to the overall efficiency when heating up the cabin on those colder climate scenarios. And that is because that's dissipated from the vehicle's electronics, for example the battery pack, and feeding it into the cabin in a safe way. Now, in terms of the range claims from the manufacturer, at least on the WLTP mixed driving cycle, it sits at 203 miles 52 kilowatt hour model and goes up to 229 miles in the 49 kilowatt hour model. Now, I am actually testing the latter, and I achieved a pretty impressive 190 to 210 miles. And that came with mixed driving, in other words, driving on the motorway, on the country roads, and within the city. Now, if I were to be driving kilowatt hour model, I would have expected roughly 160 to 190 miles. Now, as you'll be able to see from the mileage leaderboard, it actually does do a tremendous job, not only given its offer, but also its asking price. So what Hyundai have been able to achieve at this form factor should certainly be applauded. Now, hopefully those audio demos gave you a little bit of a snippet as to what to expect. But of course, if you can sit in front of the soundbar yourself, you'll be able to experience it to a much better degree. Now, in terms of my own subjective opinion, in terms of the sound modes that I preferred, they were the music and the movie presets. The former being the one that I actually preferred utilizing no matter what sort of content that I was actually consuming. It just gave me the best sort of audio reproduction. In terms of the treble and bass settings, this is of course very subjective and it depends in terms of your own room acoustics, but in my case I left it both of them in terms of their medium settings. Now, aside from that, it is also worth mentioning that you have got an AI sound adaptation, which is actually quite handy and does actually work a treat. If you're a singular person watching your TV and therefore your soundbar, then you might want to utilize it after calibrating it via the app. This is actually a pretty simple process and therefore will give you the utmost audio fidelity and furthermore something that's a little bit more tailored towards you. But if you have got other people that are sat in the room, then you'll certainly want to disable that because it does degrade the audio fidelity depending on where the calibration was actually taken. So it is indeed very accurate and therefore is actually pretty well done by TCL. Now, past all of this, I would like to talk about the speaker configuration. And indeed you have got 580 watts with 5.1 channel configuration. Here you have got 9 audio drivers with 3 two-way speakers and 3 one-way speakers, and here you've got wideband and also tweeters which are positioned within the soundbar. And unlike the more expensive alternatives that are provided by TCL, you've got no upward firing drivers, despite the soundbar itself actually supporting Dolby Atmos and DTS, which indeed use the heightened metadata to give you a little bit more of a surround sound effect. Speaking of which, you have got TCL's Ray Dance technology, which effectively gives you an even wider soundstage. And this is in part due to the fact that you have got 60-degree amplifying horn drivers that are found towards the extremities of the soundbar unit itself. And therefore, in comparison to the older generation models, you've got an even wider horizontal and vertical soundstage with enhanced sound details. Now, with that out of the way, I would also like to have a quick word of its subwoofer unit, which has got a rated power output of up to 150 watts and also goes down to 45 Hz. Therefore, will give you a good low-end rumble, specifically when you're watching movies. This does actually perfectly bring me onto a movie demo, where I'll be playing back Transformers Age of Extinctions. I'll be flicking between Dolby Atmos and also Dolby Surround / Dolby Digital. Make sure you check out the annotations on your screen to understand the metadata that's actually being used.
I know you heard me. I'm her boyfriend.
So yet again, I appreciate an audio demo over YouTube is not quite ideal, but hopefully there you were able to pick out that with Dolby Atmos being utilized, and the same could be said that if DTSX was actually being used, that you do get a little bit more of that 360-degree sound and a bit more of that cinematic experience. In fact, it could have actually been even heightened had I had a modern TCL television, because here you have got the 2T Coral feature, which effectively utilizes the built-in speakers of the television and synchronizes that with the soundbar, therefore giving you even more audio drivers to play around with and giving you an even more fulfilling experience. So there we have it. I'll be curious to know what you make of the soundbar down in the comment section below. And if you have found this video informative, definitely do consider dropping a like, subscribing and hitting that notification. All of which would be greatly appreciated. As such, I've been Totally Dubbed and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves and goodbye.